turn my own on. And I like having yours on too. Yeah, there we go.
Testing.
Yep, we're live. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start off with the pledge. Sherry Williams, would you lead us, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. And Sandy, if you would do the roll call.
Revis,
Here.
Balich, Freeman,
Present.
Hickey,
Here.
Winfrey, Oxley,
Yes.
Trinier.
Yes.
We have a quorum.
I have a question, Sandy. Maybe I'm looking at something. Oh, never mind. I'm fine. I'm still not used to how this looks. I'm looking
looks
for the
different, doesn't
attachment of
it?
The minutes, and I was like, where did it go? I know it was here. Yeah, it's under. Okay, so first up, we have approval of minutes from the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting of August 5th. Motion by Freeman, second by Hickey. Can I have a roll call, please?
Revis,
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Oxley,
Yes.
Trinier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, and now first for old business, we've got discussion on 143rd Street reconstruction update. And I just wanted to let you know, this is an update. This is informational only. We will not be taking a vote. And Mr. Ronaldson, take it away.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. The memo is attached there. I'll probably go through it, not word for word, but for a lot for the benefit of those online and in the room.
A photo would have been good.
Yes.
You know, the picture.
So for the last year or so, we've had discussions at the board level and committee level from residents and elected officials regarding the status of 143rd Street, originally planned between State Street and Bell Road. That's the current 5-lane design. We've had some meetings recently, the past month or so, with elected officials, county executive's office, board members, the village, and trying to figure out what can come up with as alternatives. So we went through that, presented some alternatives to various people, and what the compromise was at the time that we're proposing is on this memo here. So originally it was 2 segments, right? The east segment and the west segment is how we had in our plan, which you saw in the last month or two, starting 26 and the other one in 29, 5-lane the whole route. What we're proposing here is to reduce the east side. So we have the east segment that's planned for 2026, where the federal dollars, that's where we're going to do that project. So instead of just doing that east segment, we decided and looked at, and we can do, reducing that east segment down to even to Parker Road. So that's a further half-mile reduction in the length. Still 5-lane, because that is what's needed out there, regardless of what comments have been made. But facts are facts as to traffic volumes and all the safety features out there. That's what's needed. So what we're looking at is a 5-lane from Parker to Bell, as again said, a quarter-mile reduction. So to make that happen, to make that compromise go forward, these bullet items are what would need to take place. So, and it all starts with the condemnation resolution, which is on the agenda today. So I'll explain that in a little bit. So as I mentioned, number one, we're going to finalize the plans for the eastern segment length. So again, knocking that down by another half-mile. So after Parker Road, we'll get to 5-lane through the Parker Road, and then immediately thereafter, we'll go down to 2 lanes, 1 lane in each direction. So as soon as the transitions can happen per design standards, it'll go back to the 2-lane, match into the existing roadway, and it'll be existing roadway throughout the rest of the road to where it starts back up again to State Street in Lamont.
Excuse me, Jeff.
Yep.
I'm a little bit of a landmark person.
Yep.
Is there anything notable at the corner of Parker?
Parker Road is a traffic signal, actually.
Yeah.
There's a traffic signal there, and the golf course is in the northwest corner.
That's what I was thinking. It was the golf course.
Yep.
Okay, thank
So
you.
this stops right when you get to the golf course, and then pretty much for the bulk of the golf course, it'll go back down to the 1 lane in each direction.
As opposed to going all the way to Bell.
No,
No, it's.
Reverse. It does go to Bell.
Oh.
From Parker to Bell, that's where the 5 lane will still be.
Okay.
It goes to Golden Oak Drive.
Golden Oak, because it will be with the current construction project we have at Bell Road. That'll carry us right up to Golden Oak. So this modified section will take care of the Golden Oak intersection and the Parker Road intersection. That's half mile itself right there.
Okay.
So that's what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it push your butt.
He's on.
Yeah, no, he was, I got his on. No, I was.
All right,
Talking
let me
about-
finish through these points of items here, and then if you want, you can go through more, but,
Mhm.
so yeah, as I said, it's a half mile reduction in the current east segment. Total reduction of 75% in the originally funded work. In the plan we had before, we had that whole roadway planned and funded. This reduces it down 75%.
Mhm.
So it's a big reduction in what we're funding. The number of parcels needed to construct this eastern contract are reduced 20%, 26% of the original count. So a lot less parcels that we're looking at taking at this point. And then doing so will allow us to get the federal dollars awarded. We're still slating for a 2026 letting on that segment between Bell and Golden Oak.
Do you offhand, Jeff, know the number of parcels? I know. it's-
31,
Okay, thank you.
31 remaining to do the eastern,
To do
modified
eastern.
eastern segment.
Got it.
Some have agreed
Excuse-
already.
Mr. Oxley,
Sure.
could you put on your microphone?
Yeah, originally, the original count for the eastern segment was 45.
Yeah.
And then between reducing the project limits and the 5 that we have acquired, we're now down to 31.
31.
So
Thank you.
basically, in the end, we're at 31 right now.
How many of those parcels have agreed to,
The 31 is the ones we still need. They haven't agreed.
so there's been no negotiations with them yet on,
Oh, yeah, there's been negotiations since over a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't agreed.
okay.
That's where they're
I
at.
thought we were told that the daycare center had agreed.
Yes, they have. They're one of the 5 that have agreed.
Okay.
Yep, the daycare center is done. I can't remember the other ones, but I know the daycare center has been brought up several times in committee and boards. That one was done.
Bobby Noonan's.
Yes.
Yes.
Bobby Noonan.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think the shopping center over by Golden Oak has as well, but I don't want to speculate on other ones, but
No, that's okay. That's fine. Like I said, I am into landmarks, but sometimes it's hard to keep track of all of them.
yep. All right, so with that modified eastern segment, if we're only going to do that segment, number 2, we will redesignate the western segment, so any part that's from this point on over to State Street Lamont as unfunded. So that means the next time you see the multi-year plan come around, it'll be MYB. It won't say 2029. Right now it says 2029, but it shows MYB, meaning we don't know. It's whenever the county board decides they want to fund it.
Okay. Hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Oxley.
So from Parker Road west to State Road will be taken completely out of the plan.
It'll be in the plan because a 5-lane section is still warranted, but it's not funded. So you're not going to see it as like $40 million scheduled for 2029. You're not going to see that.
It's a little bit like some of the projects in the 2050 plan. They talk about constrained and unconstrained. I always screw up. The unconstrained are the ones that we do have the funding for and we do plan to do.
Yes.
The constrained means they're on the list, but we have not allocated.
Actually, I
funds.
think you got it reversed. It's reversed. Nice try.
I thought of it, had it.
Constrained means we have this dollar amount. These are the projects we're doing.
I hate those 2 words. They just don't seem to work.
And I'll explain why the funding happens in the next step here. So it'll signify when that happens.
Okay, why
Um,
don't you go ahead and.
but we
finish
do
it?
still
I'm gonna
have-
take,
We are still showing the 5-lane in there because that is what the phase 1 study that we did shows is warranted and is needed.
Mhm.
And per the federal standards, that's what was warranted and needed. So that's why we're still showing that. But in the MYB, as I said, so with the passage of this resolution, we would also rescind the offers on the western segment. So those parcels to the west, we're not going to keep negotiating on those. We'll stop that. And the only way that we would pick that back up, because we would have to get those to do the western segment, this is the key, is if the county board decides at some point in the future, I don't know when that will be, you guys can tell me better than that, we will need to start negotiations again. And I will not be able to do that unless we have new appraisals, because the appraisals will be old, right, by then. So the county board will have to execute a new contract for new appraisals and a contract for negotiations again, because the negotiations will be done. So that's the trigger to actually make that western segment come into the funded category. So
Um,
that's the sequence of events.
Let me ask another question about that, just to be clear. So you're saying we'd have to authorize the appraisals and authorize negotiations.
Yes.
We don't have to authorize money
Well, as part of, you have to authorize
to
the
build
money.
it.
You have to authorize the money for the new appraisals. You
Mhm.
have to authorize the money for the new negotiations and buying the right of way.
Mhm.
And then when we bring the contract forward for
Then-
construction, of course, you got to authorize the money for the construction.
Okay, but
So
those
yes,
other two things.
But it doesn't
would-
start, nothing happens until you authorize the new appraisals.
Got it.
Okay?
Perfect. I just want to make sure everybody understands. I want to be really, really clear about that. Okay.
Right. So there's some work. If the county board wants to move it forward again, there's some work involved to make that happen. So it's not like it can just
Yeah.
happen on its own.
Mhm.
I can't make it happen. Okay? All right. So then in the meantime, we have at the recommendation suggestion of member Richmond here, gone out and looked at that western segment to see what kind of signage enhancements we can make to try and make it a little safer. The no passing zones, you can't do anything about that because of the hills, but we did reanalyze them and made some longer. We moved some signs around, added additional signs and some flashing lights on some of the no passing zones themselves to try and let the motorists know that, yes, you really need to obey the traffic signing that's out there and not pass in the inappropriate areas. So just to kind of improve safety in that area. So really, that's the updated where 143rd stands. That's the compromise that has been brought to the table. And that's where it's at. So with that, I'll leave the update to you.
Member Richmond.
Thank you very much. So I guess I'm a little bit confused, and maybe it's because I'm new. We've been told for a year and a half there couldn't be any compromise. And I'll use compromise in air quotes. And now all of a sudden, we can come up with this, we're in the 11th hour that, I guess my question is why wasn't this brought up or discussed a year and a half ago? We wouldn't have had to waste a lot of people's time, energy, and effort.
I
And
think I can answer.
I'll listen to anybody answer.
Human nature, when people dig their heels in on both sides, you don't tend to go anywhere.
Well, yeah, let's,
Talking about residents, I'm talking about the people that were in charge of this,
so,
not
so.
any
So
individual.
moving forward, I think we should always have all the cards on the table and have all the discussion on the table. So this way we can all make a good decision, not only for the county, but for the residents too. Second off too is I'd like to see if somebody would make a motion to let the residents talk because we have a number of residents here. Let's move public comment regarding this particular item up in this portion of the.
Make that motion, move the residents up to now.
Oh.
Second that.
Well, all I'm doing is I'm asking somebody on the committee. I'm not saying I'm making a motion. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richmond. Member Hickey?
Make a motion to-
Yep, I know. I'm not going to forget the motion, but she's a member of the committee too, so. Do we want to have discussion on the motion? No, does somebody want to have discussion on the motion? Her light was on, so I was trying to recognize her. Yeah, go ahead, Member Hickey.
Thank you. Mr. Ronaldson, I know you said that if we would move forward with, at some point, if we move forward with this other section, that we would need new appraisals, there would be new negotiations and new construction costs that we would have to authorize. Do you know how much that would be and how much of it would be redundant? Or do you have any?
Well, all the appraisal costs will be redundant as well all the negotiating costs. I don't know the numbers, but
Okay,
those would all be redundant.
thank you. I just wanted to double check.
Okay. Any questions on the motion to move public comment up? Not a member of the committee, but Mr.
I'm
Butler.
not, I just had some questions for.
We have a motion on the floor that I thought Ms. Hickey's question had to do with the motion. That's why I called on her, Member Hickey. We have a motion and a second on the floor, no discussion. Roll call, please.
Revis,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Freeman. Hickey. Winfrey. Oxley,
Yes.
Trinier.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Butler, you had a question, Member Butler.
Yeah, and forgive me if some of this stuff was already said. The speakers aren't working back there and I can't hear.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify a few things. So from the 5-lane segment that we're talking about, from Bell to Parker, is that 5 lanes now?
No, it's not.
Okay,
It's
okay. I
the
just
only,
wanted to be
it's
clear.
5 lane between Bell and that first signal to the west that goes in the shopping center.
So we're talking about expanding to 5 lanes from Bell to Parker.
No, the current construction project at Bell Road, that intersection work that we're doing right now, goes almost within a couple hundred feet of Golden Oak. So essentially between the Purple Onion where Golden Oak is, that will be 5 lane once we're done with the current construction. So what we're talking about here is the Golden Oak intersection, half-mile west of Parker Road intersection, that segment,
Being,
becoming 5 lane.
becoming 5, okay.
Yep.
So
Extending that 5 lane from the commercial area all the way to Parker, where Parker has 11,000 vehicles a day and itself. So not
I
not
just
to mention
wanted to be clear on
18,000.
that,
Yep.
because there's been confusion,
Yep.
because I remember when I brought it up before, they said there was no enlarging of the street. We were just talking about intersection. So we are talking about enlarging the street and an intersection.
We've always been talking about enlarging the street.
Well, it wasn't made clear to me, so that's why I'm asking.
Yep.
Okay. And I want to make sure that I'm thinking about this correctly. Okay, then the other thing was, when you talk about redesignating money, is there money designated for this project that we're talking about, this first one, this 5 lane segment?
For the right-of-way acquisition, there is, not
From
for the
this Bell
construction.
Road to Parkway Road, has money been designated? Is there?
There's money designated. You guys will eventually have to approve the contract.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I guess, are we really doing anything special by not designating money for the second phase? I mean, because we haven't even fully designated money for the first phase.
Well, you're doing something different in that we wouldn't, if this compromise were to go forward, we would not be negotiating the right-of-way anymore. So that would be
Just
different.
not, I guess what I'm saying, I'm just not clear
Mhm.
that we're actually getting something and we're not just being fed a line because we're just kicking the can down the road. We're saying we're not going to do the other project. It's like, but we're building and expanding the road to 5 lanes and we're going to push it right up to the edge and we're not going to do the other one. On that one, we're going to have to get funding. We're going to have to apply for that again for doing it. So it's like we're building a 5 lane, but then just stopping it, right? So it's like building a 5 lane road to nowhere. and
You're
we're
making
just
a great
stop it.
point as to why we should do the whole road in the first place,
Or not at all.
or do it in the first place.
Yes, but of course, that would be your perspective.
Okay,
But
Member
many others
Butler,
would
please
not.
direct your questions this
Okay,
way.
I'm sorry, you're correct. Okay, that's all I had to ask for now.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Member Revis,
Oh,
you had a question?
I'm not cutting Judy, am I?
That's fine.
You're over the.
Okay, okay,
Not
okay.
cutting any-
Sorry, just wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting. Member Ogala. Mr. Ronaldson, thank you for the presentation. I just want to make sure I have something correct. I think I heard it, but I want to make sure we're ultra clear because this is one of those high stakes items. So number 1 on our agenda, which isn't what we're under right now, we're under the
Old business.
reconstruction update.
Correct.
But number 1 is in step with this new compromise that we're hearing about today.
It is.
And then so with this new compromise, when we use the term compromise, you know, I'm disappointed that we didn't allow public comment. But when we were talking about compromise, does this mean that the residents are in favor of this? Or
No.
This
Okay.
resolution is condemnation, which means we have not been able to come to a settled agreement, which happens on almost every project we have. So this is a routine resolution for those properties we're not able to get through standard negotiations.
Understood. So where's the compromise coming from? What is that second party that's compromising with us?
Can I answer? It is the compromise from the fact that the county board voted over, I won't say, the county board vote was not to do this project. The county executive vetoed it. The compromise was between the county executive and the various elected officials, as Mr. Ronaldson explained, that that were spoken with, as well as county board members that were objecting to it.
Oh, okay. Can we confirm that from the executive's office? I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But I don't know if you're looking to go, you're always ready. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank God we're saving money, huh?
There you go.
So again, as we know, this project has been preceded me, and it's been a long-term project. And when Jeff has said numerous times that we've had 10 votes on it, it means every time we do a contract, not the plan, but every time we've done a contract for that, that is a county board vote. I understand everyone here has not been part of that. I fully understand, but road projects are long, they're long-term. When we originally spoke to the mayor, and I will say, no, the mayor does not want this project. All right, when I talk about compromising, it is the conversation that the engineer or Jeff had with our elected officials that touch the area. So not even everyone that goes through it. So again, there's two issues. There's one public safety issue, and I just heard that we're gonna have discussions on how to make the road more safe, okay, and signs and stuff. So it's kind of amazing to me that we're gonna have conversations about how we can make the road safe with signs. But then second was the financial obligation. Part of it was money that the county has put in. Part of it is a grant that received from the federal government. So we talked to the members at Touch, and we gave them two scenarios. One was half the project, one was the half mile that Jeff is presenting today. It was what we can get these members to at least say, we're not losing the financial responsibility, the taxpayer dollars that we have put into this project, and address some of the concerns. So that is what we mean by the compromise. It is not a compromise with the village.
Correct.
Yep.
Thank you.
More, Chair Lady Jackie, we had a motion and a second, and then we're discussing the motion. We're not supposed to be going on to discussion all this other stuff.
The motion failed.
It's good information,
No.
but we're discussing whether or not to let the people that are here speak
No,
first.
that motion failed.
So-
That motion failed.
Oh, should have passed.
Sandy, Sandy,
We should have.
turn the microphone your way and.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so the
that-
point of order
Is
is.
that, did I
out
answer
of
your
order.
question? Yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think
Member
you did.
Reynolds?
I think
Okay.
you did.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have for right now, but I think we have more discussion, and I'm
Good.
gonna chime in
Member
again.
O'Gala, you have a question?
I have a question and some statements,
Mhm.
both. So this road project has been talked about for a very long time. Federal dollars were granted to us to do the study, as every project does, to do the study, to determine what should be done, if something should be done, if something should not be done. So those are never lost dollars, because you have to do a study to get to the next step to determine what you're going to do and if you're going to do it. So we got through that step, and then because the time frame from the start of it to the end of it was 7 years perhaps from that study, and I don't know
This
exactly.
one started in 2009.
2009, so way more than 7 years. So then the residents in the area who may have been there at that point aren't there now. Elected officials in the area are all new. So now they became more engaged and aware of this, and they don't support it. At the time, the project, from my understanding, was that we looked at it originally to make sure that we had a way to travel through east-west in that area of Homer. But the state was also looking at doing 159th. The state completed 159th of 5 lanes. And to me, then, do you need 5 lanes every east-west, every mile, every 3 miles? I don't know. I think that's a bit much. I think that the right thing to do would have been made safety improvements along the way. Just to say that you should put 5 lanes in for safety is a bit ridiculous. Another thing is, I remember sitting here, and I'm sure our minutes reflect, because our staff does a great job at taking minutes. They reflect the fact that we were told that if we don't proceed with the 5 lanes, that we couldn't change it, that we would lose those dollars to proceed forward. And that we would never be able to get grant dollars again that funnel through CMAP if we changed it. Now, suddenly that's changed. Suddenly that conversation is completely different, and we have this compromise, the compromise that the county executive has come forward with and talk to the board members in the area that, hey, instead of doing the whole area, we're just going to do 5 lanes. Now, we just heard today that Jeff said that the western part is not off the plan, it's just not funded. Therefore, it means it's still part of the plan, and the intention would be to fund that at some point in the future. I don't know when that would occur.
That
So-
sounds correct. Do you have a
So,
question?
so here's the thing. So it appears that we continue to hear different stories. So Jeff, is it true or false that we were told that we were going to lose the federal dollars, and now suddenly with the change, we're not? And I don't need you to answer. I want Jeff to answer.
Answer.
And
I
now
want you
we're
to ask
going
a
to have a
question.
change. I want to know, is that true?
Well, I'll answer that if I can answer some of the other points made in that statement.
Sure. Go
All right.
ahead.
So the dollars for construction, federal dollars is what you're getting down to. The federal dollars, the 7 million is allotted for construction. It is not allotted for the design, the study. That's already done. The study is done. Phase 1 was done, approved by the state and the FHWA in 2019. The awarding of the 7 million came after that for the construction of the roadway. So that's allotted to the corridor. So the federal dollars that we would lose, if we don't do anything, we will lose those $7 million.
Mhm.
Now, if we still are allowed to do this eastern segment, the modified eastern segment, we can apply those federal dollars to that segment. So that's where the $7 million will be saved. And then the Will County Governmental League will continue to allow us to apply for federal dollars in the future. If we don't use it, they've gone on record, again, the minutes can state that they will not
Support and
support us getting additional funding.
correct.
There's a process in that federal, there's scoring. This project, because of what it provides to the community and the traffic, scored very well, and that's why we got to 7 million. So the 7 million would be saved, it'll be on the eastern part. The western segment does not have federal dollars in it. That's why we can leave it alone if you choose to do so. I am not going to propose saying that's a good idea from a traffic standpoint with 18,000 vehicles a day on there. Not a safe option for our department, but the county board wants to wait. You have the opportunity to do that. That's what we're saying. You have the opportunity to do that. We want to focus on that eastern side where it's closer to Bell, closer to the commercial, gets you through to Parker Road, where there's 11,000 vehicles itself at Parker Road, which is a significant amount. And to get our county highway system, the regional roadway, built the way it needs to be for current traffic. This is not just projected traffic. 18,000 vehicles exceeds the amount for a 5-lane today, not projected. So I think I answered the funding. Long way, sorry. But 159th Street was the only other thing. Yes, 159th Street was approved and improved by the state of Illinois. Their process was just as long as ours. They finished that around 18 or 19. I can't remember the exact year. So that's done. Should we pave roads just because we can? No. But 143rd Street, again, since 159th was done, the traffic volume, even though the population on Homer Glen has remained the same, which has been stated and factual, has remained the same, 143rd Street traffic continues to grow because it's a regional road. It's now at 18,000 vehicles per day in this segment we're talking about between Parker and Golden Oak. That warrants a 5-lane. So that's why we're looking at still doing that, because it does make sense for the regional road, the road users who use it, not just our property owners along the roadway itself, which of course we know it will impact them. We understand that, but this is not a village street. If it was, the village of Homer Glen would be taking it over. This is a county route to serve people from a destination point to a destination point. So those tax dollars for the whole county go towards the county highway system, not just one little area. So I don't know if that answers more questions. There you go.
And you have a follow-up
Yes,
question,
I do.
member?
Yes, I do. So then I also recall that we were told that we couldn't change the project. We couldn't change the project because we would lose those federal dollars. So because we're not changing the project, I guess we're just doing half the project. And I can't believe the Will County Governmental League, number one, would not give us further dollars. I don't believe that at all. That's their job to handle those dollars. But I can't believe that we can change the project or not do half the project and still get those federal dollars. But if we change the project to do the 3-lane road with the improvements that the mayor and the village, the mayor, the township support, as well as many people in the village support the 3-lane improvement, why we couldn't make that change. Why couldn't we make the change to do 3 lanes, to do safety improvements all along there? I drive on 143rd. I find no trouble at all driving on that road, ever. I've never had it, all times of the day or night. I don't have trouble on that
Is that
road.
your question?
I do think that we need to, stop interrupting me, please, Jackie. So the thing is, we
May I have a
we
title?
I know what you have. I know
Thank
what
you.
you do. I know who you are. Believe me.
All right,
Yeah.
let's move on.
So
Let's-
I'm confused as to why we can change and just do half the project, still get the funding, but we couldn't do the 3-lane project being told we would lose the funding. Why would that be?
I'll respond.
ahead.
So if you're going to use federal dollars, you cannot go lower than a 5-lane facility. It's not allowed because you have met the warrants for a 5-lane facility, not allowed. So if you don't use federal dollars in the western segment, you have latitude to do something else. You just cannot go for federal dollars. So that's why federal dollars are not being proposed in the western segment, because we can't use it there for a 3-lane section. We can use it for a 5-lane, which is warranted and approved. That's why we're still proposing to use it in the modified eastern segment.
And the one more.
So to go to a 3-lane, it does not meet the IDOT and federal design criteria.
So I have one more question. So,
No,
so then I
no.
would like to know, Jeff, are you then intending to, on the western portion, do a 3-lane there, improvements with intersections and things like that? Is that plan and for you guys, are you thinking of that?
That is not in the plan, no.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Member Hickey, you had a question.
Excuse me.
Talking about
You'll,
David,
you'll be next.
and I'm after David.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Ronaldson, I just want to double check that I'm understanding this process. You all have collected the data, you have the numbers, and per the federal guidelines, in order to improve safety on this road, you need the 5 lanes.
To meet the design criteria, you need 5 lanes, yes.
Okay, and that's what would solve the safety issues there?
It will help safety issues. The way people drive, you can't say it will
Right, right.
take care of them. yes.
Okay, but it will improve
Provides
conditions.
the safest and most efficient facility we can provide the public, yes.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to make sure that we're looking at the facts here. I've heard a lot of opinions. I'm just trying to make sure that we're looking at the facts. And I realize that everyone has very strong opinions about this. But I think that it sounds like what you've tried to do is try to accommodate, folks that are upset. And I think that that's admirable, rather than saying, why are we accommodating people now? I think that it's nice that they've been heard and that people are trying to do the best to between the safety aspects and the desires of the community. So thank you.
Member Ballard, you had a question?
Yeah, I got an email over the weekend saying that, that the Dawnwood, I don't know if you want to call it subdivision or whatever, the gated community, never signed anything to give us the land or lease the land or anything. And is that factual?
Hold
Yes,
on,
that's,
hold on. You're supposed to address your questions to me.
Oh, please, let's just move on.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Let's not be
Ask the
I'm,
question.
I'm, all right, I'll ask the same question to you and then you can ask him.
Jeff, go ahead.
the homeowners association where we need a temporary easement, they have not negotiated a settlement on their temporary easement, no.
Yeah, because we've been told all along that there was, that everyone's get sold, not everyone, but majority of the people sold the land there.
And who told you
I
that?
wasn't told that.
Who
I
told you that?
never
Part
been
of the
told
meetings
that.
you would hear.
No, I've never been told that, never heard anybody say
I've heard
that.
it numerous times.
And
that,
almost every single
the-
road project we've
lot of-
ever had, we had to go to condemnation or eminent domain of some
Based-
sort.
We were
Doesn't
told
matter the
numerous
project.
times that these people that live along there have sold their right of ways or leased their right of ways for construction or whatever. Oh, okay, that's just your memory versus my memory, and my memory's probably better. So,
Do you have a question?
yeah. So when we're talking about this whole deal, right? I go out and spend the last about 4 or 5 days talking to people that live there and live around there, not on 143rd, like in the different subdivisions. And there isn't, I didn't come across anybody that wants it. And I told them about this compromise. And they don't believe the compromise is going to benefit Homer Glen at all. It's going to destroy it. And they are very unhappy about the compromise.
And your question?
And get to it. Don't worry about it. So they're all very upset. And then their question is, now, if the board, our board, decided to vote for the compromise, okay, now you have just verbally, we need to have some kind of proof of what you're saying, because frankly, nobody that I talk to believes that the county's gonna stop at Parker. Everybody thinks it's just a final step to move forward to finish the whole damn thing. And then, you know, we've talked about in the past, now you're gonna have to open up your heart a little bit in your mind, because this is not exactly on the paperwork we've seen. I was given a blueprint for how that road is eventually gonna be. So we already know from what we've seen, it goes from 355 to Cicero. Right? And then the part on the bottom was left off. I was given the blueprint of how it's going from Route 59, and it's gonna go down Lockport Street. And it's gonna have this big giant interchange that's gonna connect to, now, I'm not a good engineer, so I sent it to an engineer friend to check this, so I know the exact streets. But it looks like it's gonna go from Lockport Street to 355 with an interchange and connect. And then it's also gonna have a leg that goes to 143rd Street. What the leg is there, it's what it looks like, so I can't verify it, but have you seen that?
Yes or no, and then we're moving on.
If I could answer the proof question first. So the proof question is, it's in number 3, we're rescinding the western segment parcels. We can't buy the right of way. We're not buying them. So
The agenda.
the proof is that the county board will have to execute new contracts. That's the proof. The power is in the county board's hands. I can't do anything about that. That's the proof that it won't happen unless the county board chooses so. As far as the 143rd, I have not seen any other drawings than what we have going from Archer east all the way to Cicero. If there's
I
anything
will
west of
send
there,
it.
I haven't seen anything.
I'll send
Thank
it to
you. Thank you very
Because-
much, Mr. Ronaldson.
Nothing by the state or the.
That's the
not
end
done
of the update.
I'm not done
gonna
yet.
move on to
Wait a minute, I'm
new
not done
business. I understand you're not done yet. We're gonna move on to new business, to the items
Well,
that
wait
we're
a
gonna
minute, I
vote
still
on,
have-
and you can ask
Okay,
questions
I'm on
about.
the committee.
one
If
more
I have more
question.
questions, I can ask.
Is it about one of the agenda
Hold on.
items?
Yes, it's about what.
Not the
You know what?
update, just the agenda. item.
I just
Madam
have one more
Chairman.
question about this update, and it's just simple, it's not.
Okay, make it
Okay,
quick.
so if you were to, is there any type of improvement that you could do on the intersection that would help us to meet the requirements? Because most people are in favor of improving the intersection.
No.
Okay, quick question. Now, we are moving on to new business.
Dave
Now,
actually had
you
this-
can ask
he had this on
questions
before
about
everybody
every
else.
item
Afraid
that
of
we are
listening
voting
to
on.
talk.
That was an informational item. He gave information. He explained it multiple times. He also explained the process for moving forward, even on the western section. He has explained it twice now.
What
So
about
we're gonna
Mr.
move on
Oxley?
to
He's
number
had
one.
his light on
And
for the last.
I will
half
let
hour.
him ask questions on every single item that we are going to vote on. That was informational. You can meet with Mr. Ronaldson for as long as you like after the committee meeting. Everybody can. Nobody cuts Mr. Ronaldson off from you. Every board member has access to him when they want to talk to him. I'm not letting the speaker speak. Number 1, 25-2582, authorizing the Will County. Yeah, no, we're moving on to, well, is there any other old business?
Yes, do you
Yes.
recognize me here?
Yes,
I'm
Mr.
here.
Oxley?
First and foremost, I'm disappointed that this committee would not hear the public speak on this, first and foremost. Secondly, you're cutting everyone short on this committee. We're going to discuss it later, going to discuss it later. You obviously didn't listen to the speaker, Mr. Van Dyne, 2 meetings ago at the county board meeting that said, please start discussing everything in committee, not bringing it to the full county board till we have a complete understanding and discussion. And today you're cutting us all short saying, move on. That is ridiculous.
That is correct. So
Yes, it
any
is.
other old business?
How do we impeach a chair?
Okay. New business is the first resolution there authorizing the Will County State's Attorney's Office to proceed with condemnation cases regarding the county's improvements of 143rd Street. Now, if anybody has questions on an item that we're going to vote on, we're going to vote on this. This is from Parker Road to Golden Oak Drive. This is what Mr. Ronaldson just spent quite a bit of time explaining. If you have a question about the process or you object to the process, now's the time to be heard.
Well,
Mr. Oxley?
thank you. Again, why don't we let the people speak that this affects? They live there, we see it.
Mr. Oxley, we have heard them speak many, many times.
Really?
Yes.
We silenced them today. You didn't let them speak
Don't
today.
silence anybody. We're following the order of the agenda. Mr. Vice Chair, did you have a question?
Yes,
I'm
thank you,
done.
Madam
Am I
Chair.
done?
So,
I don't know. Are you
I guess I am.
so, my question would be, is if there's the temperature of this board, if we're willing to allow the, mayor of Homer Glen to speak, not all of the general public that comes from Homer Glen, but I would like to see the mayor of Homer Glen speak. This is a major item affecting her community that she works very hard to represent, and I do think it would be appropriate for us to just suspend the rules for her only to speak. Is there a maybe motion from the board to do that? Maybe on that compromise work? I'd like, all right.
Second.
Mhm. Yeah. I think we need to put this on the table first, then you can make the motion. We,
Okay.
So move.
okay, moved by member Winfrey, second by member Freeman.
Okay.
What are you voting on?
Putting the item on the table, item number 1 on the table.
There's 2 motions on the table. Point of
We,
order.
we can only do one motion at
I
a
know,
time.
that's why I'm saying you have to address the first one.
But we need to have something on the,
Table first. and that's
yes,
my motion.
yes,
For 25.
yes.
Okay.
And then,
One second to that motion.
okay, can we have a roll call? Yes.
So we're voting.
I'm putting the motion on the, well, we don't need a vote, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, now we can have discussion. Now, if you want to make. your
So
motion.
I am making a motion to suspend the rules to allow the mayor of Homer Glen to speak for an undisclosed amount of time on this item. 5 minutes?
We normally allow public comment 3 minutes.
Okay, so we'll give her 5 minutes and she's the mayor.
3 minutes.
Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna make a motion, to have the mayor of Homer Glen speak for 3 minutes on this item. Her clock will start after she introduces herself,
Assuming you get a second.
Yes. if we get a second.
Second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Revis,
Yes.
Balich,
Yes.
Freeman,
Come on, Micah.
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Winfrey, Oxley,
Yes.
Trinier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
If you could just push the button.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
There you go. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I know I have 3 minutes, so I'll try to speak fast. Yes, you have heard from board members and you've heard from the residents many a times, but you haven't heard from us since this new compromise. Yes, this compromise was presented, and no, the Village of Homer Glen does not agree to this compromise. From what I found out, the Illinois Municipal League is the one who helps fund the money. So CMAP gives the money to the Illinois Municipal League. When I spoke to the Illinois Municipal League, they stated to me that this county board, if they want to stop this project or reallocate funds to a different project within your community or within the county that needs an expansion, all they need is a letter from this committee or this board stating so, which I remember at the last board meeting, you guys had voted 12-9 or 13-9, I'm sorry, stating that they wanted this project removed. I think it'd be very beneficial to have this project postponed or the monies that is allocated to this fund to be reallocated to a different project that actually needs expansion. This community does not need this. Yes, the studies if you look at IDOT, and I shared that information at the last board meeting, the traffic numbers have decreased since 2010. We are 200 and such cars less than we are now from 2010. Yes, there was a study done recently that showed a slight increase. That is because of the construction on Bell Road. People are avoiding 159th and Bell Road and taking 143rd Street because Bell Road is a complete disaster. We've been waiting months to get this project complete, and it doesn't seem that it's going to be complete in any near future. This is going to be the same thing that happens on 143rd. It makes zero sense. It basically, what you guys are doing is if you expand this road, is you're basically kicking the can down the road to allow the expansion of the rest of the road. The community doesn't want that, and we don't need that. I know there was a comment made at the last board meeting that if you expand 143rd Street, it's going to take up the same amount of land. If you expand to 3 lanes to 5 lane, that is not true. And Mr. Ronaldson can testify to this. If you do swales and ditches, yes, you will take up the same amount of land of those residents. But if you do curbs and sewers, you would not, which is what the Village of Homer Glen is recommending. I'm happy to answer questions if there's questions or if this is just for me to speak. Because I know there were some questions earlier that I wanted to jump on, but.
Committee members, any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes.
Have you been out in the community to talk to people in not only 143rd Street, but the subdivisions next to it to find out how they feel?
Yes, I had a meeting with Dawnwood residents. There was about 60 residents there, and not one of them agreed to this expansion. It will butt up right to their homes. And yes, I've spoke to many residents down 143rd Street, which some of them are here today and been to many meetings. Over the last 10, 20 years, we have written hundreds of emails, hundreds of letters, and have spoken very loudly about this expansion that we do not want it.
Thank you for your comments. Very appreciated. This is not a public hearing, so we don't get to question the.
Oh,
witness.
you did
I
agree, so
allow
I'm
you
sorry.
to Go ahead. It's public comment. There's
So
a slight
I'll
difference
wrap it
between
up.
that and
Yeah.
public
So,
hearing.
so my ask today is, we did talk about a compromise. I've asked several times why we couldn't do the 3rd lane. Village of Homer Glen doesn't want any expansion. The county wants 5. In my opinion, a compromise would be 3. Since we can't have 3, my ask is that you guys give us time. Give the Village of Homer Glen, give the county time to work together as 2 municipalities to figure out an ultimate plan down the road. Because as of right now, this expansion is not needed. There's other communities that could use this money. In fact, I've had other mayors say, hey, I would be glad to take this funding so we can be heroes in different communities. Why wouldn't you want to be heroes in a different community and give them the funding and the expansion they need and stop being the villain on 143rd Street in Homer Glen? You can help save these residents' homes, their land, their home values, and give it to another town that needs it. That is my compromise. Give the funding to a different community.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
comments.
For the record, can I have your name, please?
It's a long one. Christina, and then last name is Neigzke.
I'm sorry, NEI. If you could
I'll
just
just
write
do
it
it,
down,
yeah.
that would be perfect. I just don't want to get it.
Speaker Van Dyne.
So regarding to item number 1 on new business, we're talking about, this is the presented compromise. The state of Illinois last session decided not to follow through with the quick take for the entire project. They had, I'll say, bigger fish to fry, and there was not complete support for quick take on 143rd for the entire project. Therefore, it did not move forward. It was asked by the state and also by county board members to come back and make some sort of compromise in order for the board members to be more comfortable. That is what the county executive did. That is what the director of transportation did through this item under number 1. There was individual meetings with board members that touched this project. I was involved in most of them. And I want to say that the board members that we met with were very comfortable with this compromise and agreed to it. And that's what the state of Illinois had asked us to do. I don't know if there's going to be, when it hits the floor, if there's going to be a vote yes for it, but I do know that there was time spent in order to talk to the board members, and they did agree behind closed doors that this was a very fair compromise and would be willing to move forward. Those are facts. So that is my comment. And I know we discussed this quite a bit. I think you guys should just go ahead and vote on this item, use your conscience. We've heard plenty of testimony, and That's my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to reiterate, this resolution in front of you, item number 1, is to proceed with condemnation cases regarding county improvements of 143rd Street just from Parker Road to Golden Oak. This does not cover the western part. This is new, and this only covers the eastern portion of the project. Are there questions about the resolution from committee members? Mr. Oxley?
Yes.
Oh, hold on, you weren't the next one in line apparently, because your light didn't go on. Now, go ahead.
Thank you. The word condemnation sticks out in everybody's mind.
Mhm.
So does this mean condemning the land or allowing the people to negotiate an easement with the homeowner?
Mr. Ronaldson?
Sure. For the last year and a half, we have been in the negotiation phase where the property owners have talked to our negotiators or not, chosen not to. The condemnation is the court case proceedings for when those residents have not come to an agreement with the county negotiators. So this is where we involve the state's attorney's office, where they go into the court proceedings. And if they have lawyers or representation, I mean, they're still negotiating, that happens, but the court process starts. And however that proceeds, I would leave that to the state's attorney's office to talk about that.
Did you have
So,
further questions on
Have you
that?
had any people that have signed up for the easement? And one other thing, Jeff, as we discussed, you're not taking 43 feet of right of way. You're taking an additional 10 feet of right of way because there's already a 33 feet right of way on this project, correct?
Yeah, the existing right of way varies from 33 to 50 feet throughout the corridor. It just depends on what parcel you're looking at. If it's
Okay.
in the subdivision now, it's probably 50 feet. If it's never been in a subdivision, it's probably 33 feet existing. So we're taking whatever additional we need to get the improvement done.
Okay. And then also at the townhome development on Parker Road and 143rd Street, there was a survey stake put in by the DOT. And I talked to one person from that subdivision at the Forest Reserve meeting. That stake was not where the easement goes, because I stopped and read it. It is a temporary construction easement stake. It's about 5 feet south of the utility pole on the east entranceway to that Dawnwood. Is that correct?
All I can say is I didn't look at that particular stake you're talking about. In September, our surveyor, at the request of the president of the homeowners association, who we were negotiating with, asked for the temporary construction easement to be laid out. Our surveyor did that. The president was actually out there when that happened, so that he could explain, this is the line of the temporary construction easement. See, easement and temporary construction easement, they're the same thing from my perspective. It's an easement that we're acquiring, whether you add the additional words temporary construction in front of it, that's what it is. We're not looking for a fee simple from the homeowners association. We're not buying property from them. We're just buying the easement. So we laid that out in 2019, and I guess they're still there. So there should be several, there's more than one stake out there. When I
I'm
drove
just
through there the
referring
other
to the
day.
one on the east side of
The
the
one.
driveway.
Yep.
Thank you.
And there could even be a new homeowner president by now.
It's the same one we're dealing
It's the
with,
same-
Mr.
okay.
Fairbrother, yes.
All right, I think member Hickey is next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have two quick questions. And if I'm understanding correctly, there have been closed door meetings with the executive, the folks on our board who meet this, touch this property, and there has been an agreement. Is
Mhm.
that what you're understanding?
That's my understanding. That's what
Okay.
we've been told multiple times this morning.
Okay, I'm baffled then.
I disagree.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking.
She
That's
has the
okay.
floor.
So I guess my question is, if we are to vote and if this number one fails, what happens? What are the
Oh.
repercussions?
Then we continue on with 5 lanes across the entire project, right? I mean, no? What happens?
We need the property to build the roadway. If we don't get the property,
But, so we haven't passed it already, the condemnation for the entire section?
no. Well, you passed a resolution.
I thought we
authori-
did.
You did, in a sense.
Okay,
Very, and
all right.
you passed a resolution authorizing quick take authority from the state legislator to condemn those properties. So
Correct.
from my standpoint, yes, you did. State's attorneys and legalese, I don't know.
Okay,
But everyone, yes, you did vote
Do you
to
want to
do
answer
that.
from the state's attorney? Okay, if you could come up,
Mr.
please.
McGrath?
Sorry to put you on the spot. I know you weren't probably prepared to answer this today. Go ahead.
My understanding is that the resolution was passed by the county board to send the quick take designation for these properties on 143rd Street to request the state legislature to pass a statute, which is an amendment to the Eminent Domain Act, a statute which would allow the county to take the properties in a quick take procedure. That did not go forward at the state legislature. So in terms of does that authorize the project to go forward? My answer is no. If it went before the state legislature and the state legislature passed it, then my take, and I would have to run this by other people at my office because you are catching me. It's not something I thought of
Ahead of time.
before today. But my stance would change greatly. It's essentially a state law that allows us to go forward on it. I'm not saying there wouldn't have to be some approvals at the county level, but that would significantly change the way I would look at the situation. But that hasn't happened yet. With regard to what would happen in the future, I'm not gonna try to prognosticate that.
I know that wasn't probably the answer you were looking for.
I guess I just need a little bit of clarity, and I know I'm not asking anyone to look into a crystal ball on what's going to happen in Springfield, but if I'm understanding this correctly, this could be brought up in
November,
future sessions,
in the veto session.
in the veto session, and it could pass then, and then it doesn't matter what we've done here?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I
Well,
appreciate that.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I keep in mind that, as Jeff has pointed out a number of times, the county board has to authorize various things. What it means is the state has approved it for quick take. And so everyone understands, because I've heard people talk about quick take and what it is, and it's we're going in and stealing people's properties. That isn't what happens. All that happens and all that means is that the take, if we were taking a fee simple, there's basically three things we would take in a road construction: permanent easement, temporary easement, which is what Jeff has talked about. They're 5 years during the construction, while the construction's going on, and then a fee simple take. Those are the three types that we do. And so when we're going forward on these and a quick take, that means we would get the property so the project could start sooner once all the parcels were taken, but it doesn't mean we shove down a particular amount of money down people's throats. There's what's called a quick take or preliminary hearing, which we would go forward where the price is set based on a jury trial that could happen in the future where the final compensation would be set. So it would be the same. The bottom line is it's the same as a regular take. It just, the title changes more quickly. That's all. Well,
Thank you
no,
very much.
it's longer than 30 days.
Wishing it's 30.
Yeah. wish it was.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
would only dream about anything being 30 days in a road project. Mr. Balish, did you have another question? I didn't.
No,
I
Mr.
can't
Revit
tell.
said to leave that on because it's the vice
Yeah.
chair.
Mr. Butler, oh, excuse me, just a moment, Ms. Freeman.
So with grants, typically there's a date that the money has to be used. What is the date regarding these $7 million?
The project needs to be obligated or contracted by fiscal year 2026, federal fiscal year 2026, which is
June.
September, I think.
So September of next year, these monies have to be allocated or spent?
Not spent, allocated, contract awarded.
Okay, thank you. See how easy that was asking a
That
question?
was very easy.
Thank you,
Mr. Butler,
Chair
do you
Trainer.
have a question?
Yeah, well, just before this committee votes on this, I just wanted to remind them of three things. One, this was voted on. It was canceled. Then there was a veto. And two, last month we had a meeting and we were told that when they plan these projects, two very important considerations are the community in which is affected and the local government. And here today, again, we see the community and the local government here telling you what they want. And I think that that needs to be weighed very heavily on this committee when they make this decision. And then on Quick Take, I just want to say it is technically the same, but it takes the leverage away from the landowner. When you have your land taken and developed, and then there's a court case telling you how much you're going to get, the chances are those people aren't going to fight as hard because they don't have the land anymore. They'd have to be rich to do it. So they need that leverage of that project not beginning. That's why Quick Take is so wrong. Thank you.
Member Richmond, did you have a question?
So I just want to clarify a few things. So yes, we did have a meeting with Jennifer, Steve and I believe I used the word, this is a listening session. I didn't agree to anything. It was the first time the information was presented to us. We had probably an hour discussion on it. And my closing is Jennifer, you need to reach out to the mayor. You and the mayor have to have a candid conversation. And I'm going to vote with whatever direction that the mayor and the citizens want out there. I never agreed to anything. So I just want to make sure that that is 100% clear. So I apologize for interrupting. But, according to Speaker Van Dyne, we're supposed to have conversation here, clear everything up. So this way the board meetings don't look, so chaotic in that. So the only way that you can do that is by having discussion. And the only way that you can have discussion is if you can call on members from the audience or from departments or that and get the clarification on the questions. So that this way we all walk away with the appropriate information so we can all make the best decision for the county, for the residents, for everybody that we represent. So
I agree.
that's the only way we can move these committees forward. Admittedly, is going to take a little bit more time.
Mhm.
Finance is going to be, I chaired finance. Sometimes those meetings were 2 and 3 hours. But you know what? I wanted everybody to speak and I wanted everybody to be heard so that this way everybody could make an intelligent decision. Lastly, too, is the legislation didn't move forward. So for whatever that is we can't really be doing anything on it. We can't be forcing anybody to, sell their property or anything like that. Admittedly, it can come up in November, but for right now, we're kind of in a holding pattern. And I think from the end of May, that's what I've been saying is we need to have constructive conversation with the folks of Homer Glen. I've heard from them 3 lanes. That was their side of the compromise. And we're still trying to push 5 lanes or that and kicking the 5-lane can down the road to the future project of that. So I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that my position was clear, and I believe Steve's was clear too, is we're not for it. We're for listening to the residents and coming up with a compromise, because I believe, Steve, that was the first time you and I saw that detailed information.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Richmond. I appreciate your clarification. Member or Speaker Van Dyne.
Thank you. And my comment earlier was purposely vague because Mr. Richmond is correct. I did not want to disclose who was in agreement and who was not. I understand we have 22 board members, but I would say the majority of the members that we did speak with behind closed doors for the compromise was in favor of it. So.
Thank you for the clarification. And I apologize. Member O'Galley, you should have been next.
Well, that's okay. I just have a clarification. When the state's attorney came up and spoke about the legislation in Springfield for a quick take, which I'm well aware did not move forward. Of course, anything can always come back. Then Member Hickey mentioned, so whatever we do here doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that was my understanding, was the thought was, well, if we change what we're doing from the full 5 lanes to just half, this doesn't matter right now, because then if that gets passed in Springfield, they could move forward with the 5-lane. That's my interpretation. Is that what you thought, or what were you thinking?
I think Member Hickey was thinking kind of the same line that I was. if this doesn't pass, they still have the request from us to condemn the whole stretch of land, and they could approve that, and then this wouldn't be needed anyway. That's kind of how I look at it. Now, Mr. Ronaldson might explain it differently, and Member
But-
Hickey might have some different thoughts, but
I think that's.
I mean, we've
think it's
given
different.
direction to Springfield already, and what they do with that remains yet to be seen.
Right, but we could also go in Springfield and talk with them if an agreement is made that we move forward with 5 lanes on half of it
Correct.
to change the legislation that was proposed to just do quick take for that section. So the whole section would not have to be under condemnation and move forward with 5 lanes for the entire road.
That's correct.
Right, I just wanted to
yeah.
clarify
That's an
that.
option.
Yeah, that's an option for sure. Member Williams.
Well, I just have a question. We're talking eminent domain here, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be quick take, right? No. Okay, so even if we don't get the legislation passed with quick take, we still can take the land as a government agency. Okay, that's all.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit longer, and we are trying to get those contracts in place so that we don't lose the funds. Did you?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Member Oxley.
Yes, this memorandum does say this proposed compromise involves proceeding only with a shortened length of the project's eastern segment, leaving the western segment unfunded.
Correct.
That's what this resolution says.
Yes. And so it would probably be, it's up to you on whether or not you want to support it. Currently, what we have in place is 143rd Street going through from Bell Road to State Street, Lamont Street, whatever they call it, down on the 355. Yeah, the 355 end with 5 lanes for the entire thing because the county executive vetoed it. So that's where we stand right now.
Okay.
This is a compromise. This would only do from Bell Road or basically Golden Oak because Bell Road's already being done from Golden Oak to Parker. Now, do you have questions?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Ronaldson, you were asked this question, but you gave both answers. If we were to vote no on this compromise, does that mean we then default back to the full project, or does it default back to no project? And I think when you were asked that, you were like, well, no. I think you did get the authority. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think that's getting into that quick take gray area that's causing the blurred lines there. If it votes no, then our office is still going to move forward with the 5 lane with negotiations, but we don't have the authority to condemn the property.
Which could technically mean if this drags on long enough, we lose the $7 million.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
any
how it
further
goes.
questions before we call the roll? Okay, Sandy, could you please? Thank you.
Sure. Revis,
You had to be first.
No.
Balich,
No.
Freeman. Hickey. Winfrey,
Yes.
Oxley. Trinier,
Yes.
motion passes. Moves forward.
Moves forward. All right, thank you very much. Item number 2, confirming award of contract to Davis Concrete to let on August 20, countywide concrete repairs, all county board districts. No, you're fine. Member Winfrey, second Freeman. Do we need a previous or roll? Well, I guess we need a roll call. Never mind. I answered my own question. Yes.
Okay.
Is there any discussion? This one's a quiet one.
Revis,
No, yes.
Balich,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Yes.
Oxley. Trinier.
Yes.
Oh, no, I did skip you. I'm so sorry. You were after Balich. And you are a? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Number 3, authorizing approval of supplemental professional services agreement for design engineering services Phase 1 with Crawford Murphy and Tilly Inc. on Laraway Road from Cedar Road to East Wolf Road, County Board District 2.
Previous ballot.
Okay, all those in favor? Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 4, improvement by the county under the Illinois Highway Code for Laraway Road, County Highway 74, from Cedar Road, County Highway 4, east to Wolf Road, using motor fuel tax funds, 468,374,000 in County Board District 2. Move Winfrey, second Freeman. Previous Hickey,
Second, Revis.
second Reffus. All those in favor? Motion carries. Number 5, granting county aid in construction of a bridge over Fork Creek tributary on Bar Road is petitioned by Wilton Road District, County Board District 2. Motion Freeman, second Hickey, previous Winfrey.
Second, Revis.
Second Revis. All those in favor? Those opposed, motion carries. Number 6, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Romeoville and the County of Will for placement of license plate reading cameras located on county highways in the County of Will.
I'd like some information on that. What exactly is?
Sure, can we get a motion to put it on the table first? Motion Freeman, second Oxley. Yes, Mr. Oxley, I believe these are probably going to be the flock cameras.
There.
But they, yeah, and the Village of Romeoville is putting them up, and we're just agreeing for them to put them on the county highways within their jurisdiction.
If I may, there's a little bit
Yes.
more. This is a renewal. They put them up 3 years ago. And this is a renewal of the existing agreement. It expired after 3 years. So the
They-
Village of Bolingbrook's asking to renew that intergovernmental agreement, allowing those cameras to stay in place.
Well, this one's for Romeoville, but
I'm sorry, yes.
no, that's okay.
Whichever municipality is.
I know
asking for
they've
it.
been in the news a lot lately. Did you have?
That
a
answer that question?
Member Hickey, you had a question?
Yes, I just wondered who this information is being shared with.
Yeah, there's some laws about that, and I'm sure, like I said, you probably heard about it in the news last week. I don't know if you know all the details, Mr. Ronaldson?
It's the village who puts them in, and they contract with, I think, oftentimes it's Flock Cameras that puts them in. And that data is shared with the municipality's police department. And to my knowledge, that's as far as it goes. I don't know if it goes any further than that.
It's not supposed to, I think.
Yeah, the agreement says you're not supposed to share
Right.
commercially anyways. How other police departments may interact so that they can, follow people who aren't obeying the law or whatever case is. So they share that in that manner.
I know the story in the news. Some of the municipalities turned off their flock cameras because they felt that there were some people getting that information that they didn't want them to have.
Right. My concern here is just that there's any departure from what the original agreement was.
It is not.
Because it seemed in the original agreement
Same.
that
Same.
okay, so I'm not an attorney, I don't play one on TV, but it seemed like that it wasn't to go anywhere in the first agreement. So if it's the same, then that's great. Thank you.
Correct.
Any further questions? Can I get a previous? Your light, please.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Berkowitz.
Jeff, in our agreement, since these are on our roads, do we have the ability, our law enforcement or the DOT, to have access to that information on the cameras?
The DOT does not have access to that information. I can't speak for the sheriff's department.
I think it would be important to make sure that we possibly do in the case that we have a situation, or at least we have a relationship where they would work with us if we require information. I'm also wondering if I know some of the cameras don't register speed. Do you know, is this just a visual of the license plate, or does this include speed?
To my understanding, it's just license plate reading only.
Okay, and then do they pay any fee for this, or
I don't know the fee structure of their own cameras. I don't know.
To the county? Is there?
No, no.
It's just
They
an
get a permit to
intergovernment.
put it in, and of course, we waive the fees for our municipal partners, so there's no fee there. But they do get a permit for each location.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Member Hickey?
And I'm sorry, this is more of a comment, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, in response to that, I believe our sheriff's department solved multiple homicides using data from cameras outside of the state. So I would hope that we would have that same kind of agreement, and I would assume that that's
Yeah.
where we are.
I was going to ask our chief of staff just to confirm that with the sheriff's office, but I believe based on past conversations about these cameras, that that's where it goes. The concern was that it would be used for other things. And I know that one case that was mentioned was like divorce lawyers, child support custody cases that, lawyers seeing it and not necessarily law enforcement. So. Anything else? Can I get a previous roll? Previous Winfrey,
Second, you need a second.
second Balich. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, it is the authorization of an agreement between the County of Will and Enbridge for reimbursement for relocating facilities for the improvements of Exchange Street, County Highway 49, from Lake County to Michael Street, County Board District Number 3.
Second Winfrey.
Motion Freeman, second Winfrey.
Previous Hickey.
Previous Hickey,
Second.
second Balich. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Other new business? I don't have any. State's Attorney discussion? Director of Transportation?
Just one quick announcement. I've already notified the board members in the area, but in New Lenox, we have Laraway Road. There's a Metro crossing just east of Cedar Road. It will be closed by the railroad starting September 10th. Signs are up. Detours will be marked. I think it's probably a week and a half, 2-week closure for repairs to that railroad crossing.
That's short. We're lucky.
That's all I have.
Then the monthly work reports are attached. You can take a look at the construction status report, maintenance status report, phase 2 summary report. Did anybody have any questions about those reports? I know you reviewed them all before committee. Member Balich, you have a question?
No, I'm waiting until you call the next one, so.
Report
Comments.
from committee members.
Yeah. I find it kind of appalling that when people come here and we're gonna vote on something, you make them wait till after we already vote. So it's like, why did they even come? I mean, we're supposed to be transparent and open to the public and listen to the constituents. And here we go. This is about the 3rd or 4th time that I can remember the last month, last 2 months, that we denied the people to speak before we vote. So now they're sitting in the audience and we already voted. And now they're gonna come up and talk. So they can't change anybody's mind. And the vote's done. Now the next opportunity gets the full board. And then when they go to the full board and they get to speak. But
Before we
can't-
vote.
we're supposed to be having this discussion in committee. So maybe somebody would say something that affects another person on the board, how they want to vote. So I think that we should change the rules permanently, that if there's public comment, let it go first.
Very good. I would encourage you to bring that up with the speaker and with your Republican leader. Thank you. Any other comments? Member Freeman.
So it's hard being a chair sometimes.
Yes, it is.
And I appreciate you being in that seat. I also appreciate the Will County Department of Transportation, and I appreciate your time here today. And I would just like to apologize if you felt attacked, because that's not your job to feel attacked. And as county board members, I would like to just encourage us to maintain decorum. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Freeman. Our next section is public comment, where anyone from the public would like to come up and speak. We just ask that you give us your name. You're a board member, you're not the public.
All right,
We
so I'm
have
gonna speak
not
anyway.
allowed
So
that.
here's the thing.
No.
It is our duty as a board member to do all the questions here. We're not attacking anyone. It's our job to ask Jeff every single question that we have on our mind so that when we do vote, whether it's here or the rest of us at the full board meeting, we've had those questions. If you don't have that opportunity, then you do it. We aren't attacking anybody. Nobody is being attacked. Micah, here's the thing, what you said, I'm directing to you, but everybody needs to understand. As a board member, you have the right and you should be asking questions of anybody who comes up to speak. Jeff was a presenter, he was presenting, therefore, when that presentation is happening, board members do not have to, per Robert's rules, go and direct their questions to the chair. They can direct their questions to the presenter. So don't forget that.
Yeah, I'd like to let the public speak, and we do have a list. Diane Cernick, are you here? If you just sit in the center chair there. Yeah, the microphone's already on for you. Thank you, Ms. Cernick.
Yeah, hi. My name is Diane Cernak. I have lived in, well, Homer Glen / before it was Lockport Township since 1960. And just because this was stated to all of us, you said it's informational only, so is mine, okay? And I want to give my opinion that we should not even be here today discussing this thing, because actually, I believe, our votes were stolen from us because we had voted and the vote was 12-9 in our favor of no expansion. And sorry, this bothers me a lot.
It's okay, take your time.
And the people spoke. And also, we won the vote. And this was on February 15th. So 1 to 2 days later, we hear about that the vote was vetoed, which is totally unfair. We shouldn't even be here talking about this. This was done. But someone stole the vote from us. So, the major thing is that people are going to lose property from their homes, the frontage in front of their homes as well. They'll have nothing left, and then they won't have their homes, some of them. It was estimated before this whole thing started, over 100 homes were going to be lost. Okay? Homer Glen also is named the tree capital since 2005. Well, I guess that's gone. Thank you. Also, we have a wildlife corridor, which is stolen from the animals because this road is going to go through. Where the heck they going to cross it? Is there a crossing for them? Is there accommodations? Haven't heard a thing about that. Homer Glen also has the Dark Sky International Communities since 2011. That's going to be gone, going to have street lights all the way down. So that's gone too. This is what Homer Glen is all about, but it won't be anymore. So anyway, all these things were stolen from us. Well, they will be once this goes forward. This is what people are upset about. Nothing's been told about us. Every time, we come to a meeting, everything's all changed again. And we try to speak up, but I don't know, some people do changes, it seems like behind our backs. Okay? And the thing you said you wanted safety in the community. Oh, heck yes, we do. You should lower the speed limits on 143rd Street. That would solve a lot of problems. And Homer Glen needs their own police department. They just need to line up down that street and start picking people off. They would start obeying the speed limit once you lowered it. And then you're saying, oh, you know, this road's busy and that one. Well, yeah, we're busy because they can just fly down those streets if they want. Nobody's stopping them. No one's really there. It's not intentional, but it's happening. So anyway, that's all I have to say. It's just a Homer Glen has many losses. It's not even, well, it won't even be Homer Glen because probably the 143rd Street will be renamed the Road to Orland Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. Next up, Joe Bargill. Joe Bargill. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
It was excellent. She had most of the things that I wanted to say. And the first one was, I agree with her, this shouldn't even be going on now. It should be a done deal. It should have been gone out of everything. So I'm not a genius, but how does somebody change their mind overnight and veto what they approved? Again, did they have an epiphany? Or, I don't know, just my opinion, were they enriched some way? It's just ridiculous. And as far as the compromise, everybody knows here, it's not going to stop at Parker. They say it will, but it won't. It's going to go all the way. And, why would you even go to Parker? Why wouldn't you stay at Golden Oak, where it's all business east of there, if you want to do something? I said, you're going to take down hundreds of trees in that half mile for what? There's like 3 businesses in there and they're right at Golden Oak or whatever the road is. All the businesses are right there. There's nothing, the rest is all residential. And so you're going to make that to 5 lanes? This is, and basically I feel that it really is our waste of time coming to talk to you because you vote on everything before we can express our opinions. So why even have public comments? Is it just because you have to have them sometime during a meeting? It's just ridiculous. And I feel that I have wasted my time coming here because, as does everybody else, I think, that's a resident, because we couldn't express ourselves before you voted on it. It's insane. But have a good day and thank you for letting me finally talk.
Heidi Pasella.
This one, right? My name is Heidi Pasella, and I'm a resident of Homer Glen. The word compromise, it's a great word, and its meaning is when people change or reduce their opinion in order to agree. So why can't the compromise be used within the funding? It appears the main concern is funding, so I need to ask or put this out there, can the funding be redistributed to other projects in the area? Will they work with you regarding allocating the funds elsewhere? So for example, if a road project is on hold, can those funds go to another project? Can you amend your plans? It appears you can, because the road expansion compromise you speak of is different from the original blueprints. And I'm asking these questions so others can be aware of the fine print that you are not supplying to the public. I know you can do this. So if the county files an amendment with the Will County Governmental League, they'll coordinate with CMAP, then that process will ensure transparency, compliance with federal guidelines, and alignment with regional transportation priorities. If you said you can't change the plans or funding, then how did you do so previously? And I have a document right here, and you can find this on the Will County Governmental League website, and it's fiscal year 2025, 2029. And I know Mr. Ronaldson sitting behind me, he can verify that this is what I have on my phone, but it's really weird because I have it highlighted. The funding, I see $6 million, but it's for 143rd Street from Cream Road to Bell, that's $3.5 million. And then it's 143rd Street from State to Cream Road, and that's the other $3.5 million. So if this is the current document, and maybe it's not, how are you funding the eastern part of 143rd Street of Parker if the documentation says otherwise? That is my question. I know you can't answer it as I'm sitting here. I'm merely making the comment so that other people can be aware of this and maybe there can be some clarification with this. I know there's also a score sheet that you can find on the Will County and Intergovernmental League website. I don't even see Homer Glen on any of those pages. I see all these other towns, villages. So what I'm saying is that I highly suggest that the board reconsiders the 143rd Street expansion compromise and investigates the process of submitting a formal amendment for the funding, especially if the letting date, which I can see on the website and anyone can see, the letting date says November 5th and the 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. Christy Nauser?
I am not going to sit down because I do not want to turn my back on my mayor and my town. I am so furious right now that this whole project's going through.
Hold on,
I don't want to be, I've been sitting there for how long and I don't want to even have to sit anymore. I'm going to stand because I feel better about this. I'm furious. I have 31 acres on 143rd Street. And not only, and granted, I shouldn't even be standing here like being so angry because my little area is going to be saved, but I want to save Homer Glen on a whole. This project's going to be like cancer. It's just going to stop at that one road and it's eventually going to come all the way down to me. I'm trying to save my animals and a feeling of Homer Glen with country and trees and people that love it and adore it. But by you guys saying, we're going to go to this one road and we're going to widen this and these other people are going to suffer, I can't honestly stand here and say, woo woo for my area. I want Homer Glen to be saved and to feel that you guys can't feel what we feel in Homer Glen of the open spaces, the animals. You have subdivisions, you have a great community, and we've been fighting and trying to tell you people, stop this nonsense. Because that's what it's going to be like. You're going to jam all that traffic right down to Parker. And I know as much as I'm standing here right now, it's going to end up coming down 143rd Street because it's just like people surging to a door in a crisis. And you've heard about bars and things and shootings. They jam to the door and what happens? People die at that door. That's what you're going to do. You're going to jam all that traffic to there. And then you're going to say, oh my gosh, now we got to change this project again. And we got to expand 143rd Street. Don't do it. Leave it alone. The people do not want it. And it's been said that if you leave it alone and keep it at 35 miles an hour, people go to 159th Street, which is underutilized right now. You need to do that. You need to help community, save the community. And and I need to know where I can put my gates. I just had a pony stolen from my property the other day. I'm trying to find out where that is. That's why I look like this, because I don't sleep anymore. I want this project to stop. Keep it as it is country. I need to know where I can put my security gates like right now so nobody comes more back on my property and steals an animal. I'm furious. I haven't slept for a week, so thank you so much.
Sue Stylen?
Oh.
I know, green means go. It's very confusing to us too.
All right, thank you. And you may know I am the supervisor of Homer Township.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't, but thank you.
And Member Balich did come to speak to me a week or two ago regarding, or maybe it's even longer, regarding the compromise. And I, unfortunately, it was after our township board meeting. So I did speak to our board members to get their opinion, or it wasn't in enough time to put it on our agenda. And I can tell you that they are not in favor of this compromise. And we have about 25,000 residents in Homer Glen and about 40,000 in Homer Township. And on our board, one trustee does live in unincorporated Homer Township and one lives in Lockport. And they all agree that we would support the residents of Homer Glen who oppose this because this is about our residents. And I think if any of you were here today, you would be fighting for your community. Homer Glen Incorporated because it wanted to save its rural character, changing this road to a 5-lane road. is decimating its character. If you were, Orland Park is known as its shopping. If you were to destroy the shopping in Orland Park, how do you think they would react? Lamont has a heritage corridor, and so does Lockport has a heritage corridor. Those are what make those communities strong and make people and encourage people to live there. If you were to destroy their historical areas, they would be upset. You are destroying the rural character of Homer Glen. And safety has been mentioned. The best thing you can do for safety is lower the speed limit on 143rd Street, as Diane Cernick had alluded to. That would affect the traffic counts because it's turning into a speedway. And once you change that to 5 lanes, it's going to be a super speedway because nothing is going to stop that traffic from going through. So then Jeff Donaldson will get the traffic counts to justify the 5 lanes. But right now, it's not justified. So I'm just encouraging you, and safety, going from 5 lanes to 2 lanes after Parker Road is not safe. Going to 3 lanes would improve safety. And I would like to see, the compromise would be to go to 3 lanes and not have it, and to end the 5 lanes at Golden Oak, not go all the way to Parker Road. Homer Glen does not want to grow. It does not want to grow. We want to be sustainable, but we don't want the extra traffic. And I just wish that government never serves its constituents by going against the will of the people. And that's what you are doing by compromising and building this 5-lane road. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, did you want to come up and speak again?
So thank you for allowing me to speak again. As Ms. Pasella had said, she was 100% correct. Everything that she had stated about going to the Illinois Municipal League and asking them to reallocate the funds is absolutely 100% true. Reallocating these funds would temporarily give us time to speak to each other. About 20 years ago, you guys had made presumptions, that the community of Homer Glen was going to double in size by 2030. We have not grown by a single resident. I know that the traffic studies that are being shown, and when the traffic studies are done, that is because other roads are currently under construction. I guarantee that once Bell Road is done, a traffic study would be done again, and it would show that the numbers will continue to decrease. As Supervisor Stylen had said, you're just going against the will of the people. Expanding 143rd to 5 lanes, I know it was just discussed earlier, kind of a roundabout way. The question was asked, would it help with the safety? That question was actually not answered. He answered a different question, but it will not help with safety. I provided studies from Will County Sheriff's Office that the 159th traffic is actually worse. There's more speeding, there's more accidents. 143rd Street, you're just going to do the same thing. It is a proven study that if you put in a 5-way highway, that the crime will actually increase as well. Homer Glen was voted 7th safest city in the state of Illinois. Putting another 5-lane highway in our community will only bring more crime. We ask again that you please reconsider. When I spoke to the Illinois Municipal League, and I'll state this again, Hugh O'Hara had stated, all he needs is a letter from this board stating to remove the plan of 143rd Street or reallocate the funds. You guys had a board meeting and voted 13-9 to remove 143rd Street in its entirety. Then you guys were told that vote doesn't count. So my question to the board members is, if that vote doesn't count, how do you guys get the plan removed? There's no other way unless you guys actually vote on it. If this committee can bring a motion to the next county board meeting to make a motion to remove the plan, to remove 143rd Street or reallocate the funds, that would be doing the residents justice. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments? Anybody that didn't sign up in advance that would like to speak at our committee meeting today? Any other public comments? Going 3rd time and final. Any other public comments? Okay. I just want to make an announcement as the chair. That's the next section on the agenda. I do want everybody to work everything out in committee. I do want people to ask questions. I don't mind hearing the same comments over and over again, but if you're trying to convince another board member, and I'm assuming that that's why you're making the comment, I'm not saying that you're grandstanding, but you're actually trying to convince other board members to vote your way. I understand that too, but that might be better done one-on-one, where you can have a back and forth conversation. I want you to ask your questions. I don't want anything to go forward that people have any question about. We have heard on this topic multiple hours of conversation on both sides, pro and con. This is a new compromise. The head of our DOT explained what the compromise was, what that would mean to us. That was informational. We weren't going to vote on that. So if you didn't understand, I could understand wanting to ask a question. But that's not the time to lobby your position. That would be when there's an item on the floor to be voted on. That's when you want to lobby. And I did let a lot of questioning go on during Mr. Ronaldson's presentation, way more than maybe I should have. Because really where your questions should be coming is on the actual items that we have to vote on. So I wasn't trying to cut you off, really, Mr. Oxley. I want you to ask questions. I really do. I know, but I'm just trying to explain that I do think it's important that we ask questions.
I think you could tell us what to ask and when to ask it. Why do we have a committee meeting then if we're not gonna ask?
But that's why we have a chair to kind of guide. The chair is here to kind of guide, the chair is here to guide the discussion, not to.
We're gonna do whatever you want, so go ahead.
Okay. So I just wanted to be clear. I don't know that Mr. Ronaldson felt attacked. I think anytime somebody, I said, I did not think, and I do have the floor. But, you know, I know sometimes even when you're not feeling it, or even when it's perceived that you're feeling attacked, it's not really necessarily attack. This has been a very divisive issue for well over a year now. I think people have heard a lot on the topic. But again, if there's still some areas that are unclear, I encourage you to seek out Mr. Ronaldson, seek out the governmental league, seek out the various mayors and townships, get those answers, those questions, and then use those answers to persuade a fellow board member before it comes to the full board. Because this is going to come to executive committee next week. You'll have another opportunity to ask questions if you have questions still. But I mean, it has been discussed a lot, and I do think it's important that people get their questions answered. Do we have a need for an executive session? Okay, then I'm happy to take a motion to adjourn. Motion Freeman, second Winfrey. All those in favor, say aye. And those opposed? The meeting is adjourned at 10:50.